Julie decides to start a business breeding rabbits to sell as pets. Initially, she buys 20 rabbits. After T years, that's going to be important to consider the years, the number of rabbits R is modelled by the differential equation dr dt is equal to 2r plus 4 sine t. T is greater than 0. Julie needs to have at least 40 rabbits before she can start to sell them. Use two iterations of the approximation formula. dy dx n is approximately ym plus 1 minus yn over h. At this point here, I'm not going to read any further. I'm just going to rewrite that. And I know I can put that as yn plus 1 is approximately yn plus h lots of dy dx n. And then also I'm going to note, well, actually, this has nothing to do with y's and x's. I've got r's and t's. So your way to spot which letter is what, dy dx, dr dt. So y is r. So r of n plus 1 is approximately r of n plus h lots of dr dt n. That's going to help me later on to find out if, according to the model, Julie will be able to start selling her rabbits after 4 months. So a few things we need to try to work out here. We need to work out what h is as we're going along, and then we want to see find our successive values. So we know that we need to work in years. So 4 months is equal to a third of a year. So we want 2 iterations. So therefore, our step, our h, is 1/6, a half of that third. So what I like to do to keep track of all of my work is kind of start to put a mini table to help. So T0 we know is 0, T1 we know is going to be 1/6, and T2 is going to be 1/3. I know R0 from the question. It tells me it is 20. And I've got a formula for dr dt in terms of r and t, so I can go and work this out. R1 is going to be needed as well. R2 is what we're trying to find. And once I've got T1 and R1, I can work out dr dt1. So from here, I'm not going to put my answers all in here, but I'm just going to tick off when I've got the information, so I know I've got enough information to get to the next step. I need a full line to be able to get R on the next line. And then once I've got R, I can then find this, and then I can go down. So I need to find 3 values before I can get to my one, which my answer is in R2. So let's find dr dt 0. So we know that's equal to 2 lots of r, which is 20, plus 4 sine of t, which is 0. So that just gives me 40 here. So now I've got that right. So I'm going to tick that off because I found it. So now I can work out R1, and I can use my formula, which we wrote at the top, which is R1 is going to approximately be R0 plus h lots of dr dt 0. So R0, which is equal to 20 plus 1/6 of 40. That tidies up to give me 80 over 3, which is the same as 26.6 recurring. So now I've got this value here, so I can go and work out dr dt1. dr dt1, we're going to substitute into our formula here, is equal to 2 lots of that 80 over 3 plus 4 sine of 1/6. When we do that, we get 53.9969 and so on. We can then use that to help me find my R2, because if we check back in our little table, we've now got this, we've got a full line, we can work out R2. R2 is approximately R1 plus h lots of dr dt1. R1 we know is 80 over 3 plus 1/6 of the 53.9969. Whilst I'm writing a slightly round figure, I would be working with the exact value in my calculations. That gives me 35.66. So on. So now when we're looking at this, rounding, now there's two answers which are available here. You can either put 35 or 36. Because you could argue either way, because this is obviously not a whole number of rabbits. Some people would say, well, it's 35 because the next rabbit is not a full rabbit yet, so therefore it is not there. Some people just do normal rounding. I'm going to say that she's got 35 rabbits. That's not going to change the outcome of what decision we make, because we need to see, was it greater than or equal to 40? No, it's not, it's less than 40. So now we need our conclusion. So Julie won't be able to sell her rabbits.